Hello everyone, welcome to the class on organic named reactions useful for GPAT. In GPAT syllabus there are numerous named reactions are there. In this class I am going to explain named rearrangements and their basic concepts. This is my channel credentials. I have more than 1700 subscribers and I have uploaded around 104 videos and the viewers are reaching around 40,000. If you like the video, do subscribe. Let's begin the class. Now, I'll start with an exam question given in GPAT 2020. And the question is, an aldose pentose can be converted to aldose hexose by. Let us understand the question first. Ose, sugars like monosaccharides and disaccharides ends with ose like glucose, sucrose. Aldo indicates aldehydic functional group. Now, the question is asking, you need to convert an aldose pentose. Aldose pentose means aldehyde containing a 5-carbon containing sugar. You need to convert this sugar to aldose hexose, aldehyde containing 6 carbons containing sugar. So now what is the conversion? You need to add one more carbon to convert pentose to hexose. So it is a kind of adding new synthon, carbon synthon. Let us look at the options. The first one is Killiani-Fischer synthesis. Next one is rough degradation, then Hofmann degradation and Wolff's method. Now let me explain one thing. Imagine you don't know anything about the question and answer. Still, even you can answer this question. Look at the options. What does this second option say? It is rough degradation. What do you mean by degradation? Degradation means you have a long chain of compound is there. Degradation means you are breaking it up. When you break up, what happens? You will generate lower number carbon containing molecules. What is the question? You need to convert C5 to C6. What it says? It is a degradation. So this degradation will not give you the answer. Same thing, Hofmann degradation. What do you mean by degradation? You are shortening the chain length. No, the question is about increasing the chain length. So these two are ruled out. Now you are left with only two options, 1 and 4. Look at the options again. Killer-Fisciani says it is synthesis, this one says method. What do you mean by synthesis? Synthesis means increasing the chain length. This could be the answer. So this is how you need to think and guess about the answers. So in fact, this is the answer. See, without knowing anything about all these reactions, you can get a correct answer with intelligent guess. You need to observe all these words. Think, analyze and write the answer. Don't think that you have never studied this question and just leave it as such, but think about it. Think and then answer it. Let us see the explanation. See, Killiani-Fischer synthesis lengthens the carbon chain of carbohydrate. Look at this arabinose, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbons. Now, what is this glucose? 6 carbon. It happens in presence of hydrogen cyanide, hydrogen, lead and barium sulfate. What happens is the nitrile groups adds and then it gets oxidized to give glucose and mannose. This synthesis, Killiani-Fischer synthesis, introduces a new stereo center. Because of that you are getting stereoisomers. In fact, glucose and mannose are epimers. So this is what is this synthesis is about. So understand this one. So this is a process of increasing carbon chain length. Whereas the other options, we have seen, see in the question it is given as Wolff's method, but in fact the correct name is Wolff's degradation because it shortens aldose chain by cleaving C1 to C2 bond. So in this, a C6 containing glucose is finally converted to C5 containing arabinose. How it happens? An aldehyde is converted to nitrile group and the nitrile is removed as sodium cyanide. So it shortens a carbon atom and converts C6 to C5. That's why it is known as degradation. The other options, see rough degradation also similar one. See a C4 compound is finally converted to C3 compound. How? A carbon is removed as carbon dioxide. Similarly, Hofmann reagent, a carbon comes out as carbon dioxide and it forms an amine. So all of these methods are reducing one carbon except Killiani-Fischer synthesis. So again look at the options, think about it and then answer. This is one of the technique I have explained in previous videos also. Understand this one. Now let us move on to another question. Which of the following rearrangement involves migration of a group from carbon to electron deficient nitrogen? This is given in GPAT 2020. Again in GPAT 2020 this question is given. Now you have different names of rearrangement: Wilgerod, Bayer-Villiger, Pinacol-Pinacolon and Beckmann rearrangement. But before answering this question, let us understand what do you mean by rearrangement, why they occur. Let us say about them. See, what are rearrangement reactions? In rearrangement reaction, a group moves from one atom to another in the same molecule. Let's say you have this molecule is there. Now a group moves from one atom to another atom. See, from C1 to C2 adjacent atom it has movement. So this kind of shifts are known as 1-2 shifts. Sometimes this may move to distant atom also. So this has movement to C3. So this is known as 1-3 shifts. So in the same molecule a group moves and they are called as rearrangement reactions. But why there is a need for movement? The answer comes with this. When you have an electron deficient carbon or electron deficient nitrogen or electron deficient oxygen, the group moves with electron pair. See, anything if it is moving with electron pair, what do we call them? We call them as nucleophiles. Now see, we have seen an example. Let's say there is a group called X and you have all these atoms are there. Now this group moves along with electrons to this carbon in 1-2 shifts. Why it is moving? Because this carbon is a kind of electron deficient. It may be having a positive charge. To neutralize this charge, this group is moving along with electrons. So these are known as nucleophilic migrations because they are moving to electron deficient either carbon, nitrogen or oxygen. Let us see them in detail. Look at this. See, a carbon, electron deficient carbon could be of a carbocation. Carbocation could be a methyl cation or primary carbocation. Look at this carbon. This carbon is attached to only one carbon, so it is known as a primary carbocation. Whereas this carbon is attached with this and this two carbons, so secondary carbocation. Whereas this cation is present on the carbon which is attached with three carbons, tertiary carbocation. When you see the stability increases moving in this direction. Why? Let us understand this thing. Why? See, basically the cation ionic species are not stable. They are unstable. If this ion charge is stabilized by some means, they will get the stability. If you see, the alkyl groups are slightly electron donating in nature. So what happens? The positive charge will get slightly stabilized because of electron donation of this CH3 group. In case of secondary, you have two groups are there, both of them are donating electrons, more stabilization. In case of tertiary, three groups are there, all the three will be donating electrons, stability even further increases. That is the reason why stability of tertiary carbocation is very high in this series. Now, in such cases, look at this one. There is an intermediate in which you have a secondary carbocation. This carbon is attached with two of the carbons, 1, 2, hence it is secondary carbocation. So because this one is unstable, the adjacent methyl group moves like this. How it moves? It moves along with this electron pair. That is why I said these are nucleophilic migrations. Nucleophile means it goes along with an electron pair. So when it moves, see the methyl group comes here and attaches here. So you don't get charge here, but here because the methyl is moved, you get a positive charge. But what is this? This is a tertiary carbocation. Look at the transformation. What has happened? A secondary carbocation is converted to tertiary carbocation. Why? Tertiary is more stable. This is more stable than secondary. So the rearrangement, you need to think like this. Why the rearrangement occurs? Because there is an electron deficient species is there, whether it is a carbon, nitrogen or oxygen. To stabilize that electron deficient, a group along with it electrons moves, hence they are known as nucleophilic migrations. What happens with that? A stabilized intermediate will form. So this is the logic behind rearrangement. So we have seen an electron deficient carbon, how a group movement occurs in electron deficient carbon. Now you have electron deficient nitrogen species are there, they are known as nitrines. Look at this. This is how a nitrine looks. It is a neutral monovalent nitrogen species containing 6 valency electrons. Let me give you an example and then explain it. Take the case of ammonia. Ammonia is this. Ammonia is trivalent, means you have 3 bonds, 1, 2, 3 are there. Right, each bond is made up of 2 electrons, right? 3 bonds, 6 electrons and a lone pair of electrons. How many electrons it has got? 8 electrons. According to octet, all the 8 electrons are there and hence ammonia is stable. What about nitrogen? It is called as monovalent. Why monovalent? Only one bond is there. The bond is made up of how many electrons? 2 electrons. So these are 2 lone pair electrons, 4 lone pair of electrons. Totally how many electrons are there? 6 electrons are there. But in order to get stability, it needs to get 8 electrons. So what is this nitrogen? It is an electron deficient species. Electrons are deficient, so hence it is highly reactive. So carbocation, because it has got an ionic charge and it is unstable, whereas nitrogens electron deficient and they are highly reactive. So in the course of reaction, if there is a formation of nitrogen, it will try to get an adjacent group with electrons so that it will get the octet and will get stabilized. Look at these examples. See, all this rearrangement, Hofmann, Curtius, Lawson, all of them, the group transfer occurs to electron deficient nitrogen. The difference is, it differs in their starting substrate. Look at this. Only this substrate is changed. In Hofmann rearrangement, it is a haloamide. In case of Curtius, it is azide. The three nitrogens is called as azide. In case of Lawson rearrangement, it is hydroxamic acids. All of them has got an intermediate called nitrines. So only the difference comes with starting material, and it has got a very good leaving group. What happens? The leaving group leaves and it results in a formation of nitrine, acyl nitrine. Now acyl nitrine is, because it has got a electron deficiency, the adjacent, this alkyl is moves along with electrons, a nucleophile, the pair of electrons moves here, then you will get this isocyanate. The electrons, now look at this nitrogen, it has got this lone pair of electrons, 1, 2, 3 bonds are there. 3 bonds means 6 electrons and a lone pair of electrons. So totally how many electrons? 8 electrons are there, hence it is stabilized bond. To get this stability, this group migrates. So this is the logic in rearrangements. After that, it gets a water molecule, forms a carbamic acid and finally leaves a carbon dioxide and forms amine. So see, all the 3 reagents, the mechanism is similar. It involves in the formation of nitrine and isocyanate and finally forms amines. What is difference? Difference is in starting substrate. See, for all the rearrangement, you need to know a couple of things. First one, the group is migrating to which electron deficient atom, whether it is carbon or nitrogen or oxygen. In this case, it is electron deficient nitrogen. The name is given according to the starting material. What is the starting material? And what is the intermediate it forms? In all of them, it forms a nitrine as an intermediate, and the final product is the same, amine. Look at this, Hofmann and Curtius. It starts with an amide, Hofmann. What happens? It removes a carbon dioxide and forms amine. Curtius rearrangement, it starts with an acyl azide. See, this is a very volatile group. You give a little bit of heat, nitrogen goes away like this. It loses a carbon dioxide and forms amine. Both of them involves an intermediate called nitrine and isocyanate. And then Lawson rearrangement, it is a derivative of hydroxamic acid. A hydroxamic acid is esterified and it is a very good leaving group. Heat it, you form isocyanate, and then it combines with water. Finally, it results in the formation of amine and carbon dioxide. See, all the 3 similar pathways, you need to remember this. So all of them electron deficient nitrogen. A group is migrating to electron deficient nitrogen. Not only this, one more reaction is there called Beckmann rearrangement, in which again an electron deficient nitrogen is there, to which a group moves. Look at this. See, it starts with oxime and forms caprolactam. See, this oxime in presence of proton, the water molecule goes away. Again, see, look at this. What is this? Nitrogen with lone pair of electrons and 2 bonds. 2 bonds means how many? 4 electrons and 2 electrons here. So totally 6 electrons. It is a nitrine. And because nitrine is unstable, an alkyl group migrates, and migration again gets a water molecule, and the cycle length increases and finally it forms amides. See, oxime is converted to amide. So this is again electron deficient nitrogen to which a group migrates. So again, what is starting a substrate? Oxime. What is the final product? An amide. You need to remember these things, and the name is Beckmann rearrangement. What is the intermediate? Again, nitrene. So all these are group migrations to electron deficient nitrogen rearrangements. Now let us say about carbon 1. Now this species, there is a species known as carbenes. Similar to nitrines, you have something called as carbenes. Carbenes are neutral divalent carbon spaces containing 6 valence electrons. What is the carbon valency in CH4? It forms 4 bonds, so you call it as tetravalent. In case of carbons, it forms 2 bonds, so divalent. Each bond is made up of 2 electrons. So again 4 electrons plus this 2 electrons, total 6 electrons are there. You need to have 8 electrons. Look at methane. How many electrons it is surrounded with? Each bond is made up of 2 electrons. So totally 8 electrons are there. This is the stable octet rule. So this is an electron deficient species. So to get electrons, a group migrates along with electrons to this carbon. That is how rearrangement occurs. Example is Wolff rearrangement. Look what has happened. You have diazoketone, you heat it, the nitrogen goes away and you will get alpha ketocarbene. Look at this. Carbon, you have 1 bond here, another bond here. So divalent, 2 bonds are there and electron pair is there. So this one is 6 electron species, an electron deficient. So the adjacent alkyl group moves and it forms an intermediate ketone, and finally it forms an acid derivative. So why the rearrangement? The group is moving to this carbon because this one is an electron deficient. To fulfill its electrons, it is moving, and finally you get a final product. So this one is a group migration to electron deficient carbon. One more named reaction, Pinacol rearrangement. Look at this. This rearrangement, in this rearrangement, a pinacol is converted to pinacolone. In organic chemistry, what do you mean by OL? Alcohol. Now it is converted to what? One. What do you mean by one? One means ketone. So an alcohol is converted to ketone. How? Look at the mechanism. See, it also occurs in presence of an acid. So the acid attaches to hydroxy group and a water molecule goes away, and it has formed, see, a carbocation. What is this carbocation? You have 1, 2, 3 methyl groups are there, so this is a tertiary carbocation. This is a little bit stabilized one, but the adjacent group, a methyl group, moves here. Why? Even after forming a cation here, these oxygen lone pair electrons can stabilize it. Look at this. Oxygen's lone pair becomes involved in stabilizing the positive charge. So there is an extra stability feature here. So that is the reason why it moves, and then the stability occurs because of these electrons. But again, loss of proton results in a ketone. So now understand, it's all based on stability. In order to stabilize, the adjacent group moves. So these two are the Wolff reaction in pinacolone is example for a group migration to electron deficient carbon. Now the last type, Baeyer-Williser reaction, migration to oxygen. Till now we have seen migration to nitrogen, migration to carbon, and this one is migration to oxygen. Now see, these are called as peroxy acids. Now by using peroxy acid, an oxygen is inserted here. Let us see the mechanism. See the electrons are pulled by oxygen because of their electronegativity, and this positive charge is attracted by this lone pair of electrons. So it forms this one. But the carboxylate leaves along with electrons. If it is leaving with electrons, what happens to this oxygen? It will be electron deficient. When it is electron deficient, it pulls the adjacent atom with electrons, and that is what results in expansion of this ring, and finally oxygen will get inserted here. So this is an example for movement of a group to migration of a group to oxygen. So you need to understand this, you need to make a mental note of all these changes. What all things we have seen? We have seen a group is migrating from carbon to electron deficient nitrogen. What all the reactions we have seen? We have seen Beckmann rearrangement, we have seen Hofmann, we have seen Lawson, we have seen Curtius. All of them are example for a group migrated from carbon to electron deficient nitrogen. Now after that, what we have seen? A group migrates from carbon to electron deficient carbon. Now, what are the examples we have seen? Pinacol, pinacolone, and then Wolff reaction. Another reaction is there, you will see in the options, and that is Wilgerod. Wilgerod is also example for carbon-carbon migration. Now, the last one, what we have seen? We have seen a group migrates from carbon to oxygen, electron deficient oxygen. Example is Baeyer-Williser reaction. So, these are all the rearrangement reactions. You need to remember these things. If it is carbon to electron deficient oxygen, it is Baeyer-Williser. If it is carbon to electron deficient nitrogen, Beckmann, Hoffmann, Lawson, Curtius. If it is to carbon, Pinacol, pinacolone, Wolff, Wilgerod. So these are all the rearrangements which you have in GPAT syllabus, and this question is based on that. See, which of the following rearrangement involves migration of a group from carbon to electron deficient nitrogen? Now, Wilgerod, carbon to electron deficient nitrogen. Baeyer-Williser, carbon to electron deficient oxygen. Pinacol, pinacolone, carbon to electron deficient carbon. Beckmann is carbon to electron deficient nitrogen. So this is the answer. See, leaving the answer part, you need to understand all the rearrangements. See, rather than concentrating on mechanism, you need to understand why these rearrangements are occurring. What is the logic behind that? Hope you understood all these things. I will cover the remaining things in the next video. Thank you for watching this video.